Hey guys, welcome back to the Bussedamove channel. Today we're going to start a 4-part video series on roof raises. Part 1 is this video, and I'll be talking about all the things that went into our roof raise, what informed our decisions one way or the other on how to do it, where to do it, what to do, what the process was. Part 2 of this series will be on the front transition. How do you get the angles? How do you get the arcs to match the linear stuff? How do you get from this angle to this angle, and how do you make it all work? And I didn't see a lot on that, so hopefully I can add some insight to anybody that comes behind us, and I'll tell you exactly what we did and show you what we did. That's part 2. Part 3 will be the rear transition, which is a simple-ish transition. It's just a flat wall that goes down the 18 inches back to the normal height, about 8 feet from the back of the bus. Part 4 will be about metal, and that's from the sheet metal to the flat bar to how we curved it to do what we did. And stay tuned. I hope you love it, and let's jump into part 1. One of the beautiful things about building a Skoolie is that no two people do it the same, and no two people have to do it the same. And there's always the debate in the roof raise conversation of where do you do it, or how do you do it, or what's the process, or where do you put the transitions? Are there transitions? Does it go straight up? I wanted ours to be a long gradual slope that would span 2 sets of ribs, that it wouldn't just go from one to the next, it would go from one to the third. And I wanted that because I wanted us to be able to leave the original roof from the start of the transition to the first rib, because I wanted a shelf. I wanted like a place to store like Blu-rays and DVDs, or for our entertainment center, for our sound system, you know, like I wanted a spot for that, and we got it, and it is cool, and it's something that I don't know that I've seen it in any other one. So if you like it, I mean, you're more than welcome to do it. And hopefully between the next 3 videos, you'll be able to do that. This is part 1 of a 4-part series that we'll be doing on roof raises. We had seen a few YouTube videos on how to raise the roof, and side note, the funny thing is, every time we've said raise the roof to anybody, they all do the, you know, whatever. So it's kind of stupid, but it's fun, and here we are, and we've raised it, and you can see in the background we've gone up 18 inches. We decided to go 18. The DOT height is, last I checked, it's 13.5 feet is how tall the bus can be, and a lot of people were like, oh man, don't raise it, the bus is already tall enough. But I am 6'4", and our ceiling height inside our bus was 6'2". And with the insulation that we want to put in, and with the flooring that we're going to put in, it was going to be even shorter than that. And from floor to ceiling in the final product was going to be like 5'11", 5'10", something like that. And it was just bad. And I was going to live with it because I was like, man, it's a lot of work. We don't need to do that. But when we started demoing the bus and pulling out everything and all of that, I kept hitting my head, and it just kept happening, and I probably have permanent bruises and some scars and stuff. So we decided to go forward with raising the roof. And raising roofs for Skoolies is pretty cost prohibitive for most people when they don't plan on doing that ahead of time, and when it's not part of the plan. And it really wasn't part of our plan to begin with, but the thing that made it not so bad for us was we did plan on taking out the original school bus windows, and we were gonna go back with sheet metal and RV windows for added insulation, and just to make it look a little more RV-ish. Don't hate me for that. And all of that, we were gonna go back with sheet metal and RV windows anyway. So we decided if we're already doing that, that's already expensive. So while the roof raise wasn't part of our plan, maybe it won't be that expensive, just to buy a little more sheet metal and then a few supports. And we were right. All in, our roof raise is in the ballpark of about $1,000. We saved a lot of money because a lot of people have to pay other people to do it, but I mean, we grew up welding and doing things and fabricating things anyway, so why not? It seems easy enough. You lift it up and that's it. And we spent about an extra $300 in metal that we weren't gonna spend otherwise. So really, if you think about it, with our budget, the roof raise only cost about $300, which is cool, and that was a huge blessing to us, that we could give the extra comfort to me while I'm in the bus and not really break the bank to do it. So there's always a debate of how high do you go? We did 18 inches, 1.5 feet. And if I could do it over again, what I would do is go up at least 24, because we still have plenty of space between where our roof line is going to be with the legal limit of height. I think all in, on the outside, our roof from the ground to the top will be, I think it's 11.5 or 11.9 or something like that. So we still have plenty of room to go. And I would have gone that far if I could do it again. But we did 18 inches and it is what it is, and it's not like it's not comfortable. So we're gonna stick with that. And as fate would have it, when we went to close off the driver's side window, the way that we had to miter the cuts, it turned out to be the perfect thing. And had we gone any higher than 18 inches, our whole jig thing that we made to go from the top of the rub rail to the bottom of the windows or to the bottom of where the window was and all of that, that couldn't have been all one piece had we gone more than 18 inches. So it turned out to be pretty great. You hear all the time about Murphy's Law and everything that can go wrong will go wrong. And we're building our bus in South Georgia, so it always is cloudy and there's always a possible chance of rain, and the weather is really weird, especially in the summertime. But we decided to go for it, and we had a tarp on hand just in case, and thank God that we did, because the moment that we decided it was time and we cut the slice across the roof on the front and the back and started to raise, it started to rain. And I'm not talking rain, I'm talking like monsoon, cataclysmic, typhoon, terrible rain. Our roof raise system was so good that we were able to leave it unattended for the time it took to go put the tarp up and to protect our investment here, which was great. We were discouraged early on from raising the roof because of how dangerous it could be. The week before we started our roof raise, a couple that we had been following for several months on Instagram posted their brand new YouTube video of their roof raise fail. And Kels and Jay, if you're watching this, big fans. But thank you for scaring the crap out of us. I feel like we should all learn from each other's mistakes. And it was that made us take a more serious approach of, man, how do we make sure we're not gonna wind up the same way? And you guys definitely recovered, and your bus is beautiful, it's awesome, and I'm kind of jealous because you guys are going way faster than we are. So anyway, love you guys. But when it comes down to it, the roof raise is a dangerous business. The roof itself is heavy. I mean, it's sheet metal and a couple of ribs, but it's really heavy and can be really dangerous, and you could really get hurt if something goes wrong. So we thought about it, we drew some stuff out, we thought about it some more, we drew some other stuff out, and we landed on an approach that we really thought worked, or that would work. And we weren't gonna cut anything on the bus at all to even start it until we knew for a fact that it was gonna be safe, and that we were gonna be safe, and everything was gonna be fine, and our bus was gonna be fine. And we came up with it, and it was a really good thing. Shout out to the off-grid Skoolie. We watched all of his roof raise videos, and he had a pretty cool system, and we thought we could try something like that. And so what we wound up doing was we made brackets out of angles, and we had a 3-foot piece of 3/4 inch threaded rod. To not belabor too much of the point, after you weld both pieces of bracket to the same hat channel, you cut right between them, and the threaded rod, as you spin the nut in one direction, it will send one bracket away from the other one, and it will raise the roof. You hear talk about surprise costs all the time in building projects, period, but it seems like especially in this, because nobody really knows what to expect when they go into it. And we kind of did, and we kind of did not. And we were pricing metal and screws and rivets and our pneumatic rivet gun, so we didn't have to squeeze the thing, and for all the pop rivets, I think I bought 700 and we just had to buy a new pack. We've got about 800 rivets in this bus, which is ridiculous, that we've put in. So anyway, we calculated a lot of that ahead of time, but what we did not calculate was the construction adhesive and sealant that you put between the panels and then between the panels and the bus. And we made sure we put a healthy dose on the head of each rivet before we put it in the hole, just because we don't want any leaks. We don't want any water intrusion of any kind. And we went pretty liberally with the sealant and construction adhesive, and it cost a lot of money. We've put probably 30 tubes worth of sealant in between. I mean, you can see all the panels, and obviously they connect on the top and bottom, and we've had to go back and reorder several times over. So if we underestimated one thing on the roof raise, it was for sure the sealant, and then maybe a little time also. We didn't super budget the time for that too much, and it was easy. It is kind of easy work, but it does take time, and it takes time to figure out things. It does take a lot of math. It takes a lot of engineering. The fact that while I've never built a bus into a house before, I have done a lot of rigging and I've done a lot of building. And I'm not really a construction person, but what I do, I work a little bit in the film and TV industry, and specifically in what we call industrials, which is business to business marketing and commercials between that kind of stuff. And I work in the lighting and rigging crews. So I find myself building contraptions a lot for my business. So that part was easy. You got to figure out how this arc works with this linear thing and how the angle works with that. And it's a lot of figuring, but it is easy to do with some experience, or with the experience that I have anyway. And that's not to discourage anyone. Definitely go for it, because especially if you're tall, being 6'4", I can vouch for just the added value of the added comfort, and it's something you should really do. This is part 1 of a 4-part series, and in part 2 and 3, I'll be discussing how we built our transitions and how we built it strong, and how, fingers crossed, that it'll be waterproof, weatherproof, and I'm pretty confident on that. So if you like these videos, we ask you to like these videos. It just takes a second to click that like button. We really enjoy being part of the YouTube community, and we'd like you to be in our little part of the community. So if you could subscribe to the channel also. We've been documenting this experience the whole way, and I'm excited to share with you the tips and tricks and failures and victories and everything that we've done. So please subscribe, and we'd love to see you again, and leave some comments if there's something that you've seen in any of our B-roll or anything like that. If you have any questions, or like, what is this, what is that, just ask, and I'd be happy to make a video, or just, if it's as simple as responding, we'll do that too. So see you later, and bus love.